Some business owners are really grabbing their pennies and they are afraid to invest in their company. And advertising is an investment. It should not be looked at as an expense. You need to invest in your business by showcasing all the great things that you have to offer. Showcase those testimonials and those case studies of people that love your business.
Over the course of my life and career, I've discovered the power of consciously investing in mindset and personal development. It has been a true game changer for me in my personal and professional life, and I'm extremely excited that you decided to join us today to take one step forward in your own life. Most of my breakthroughs have come from one-on-one conversations. We created this show to bring you those unfiltered conversations each and every week. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to the Connected Mindset Live. I'm your host, Greg Tomczyk. If you're a returning listener, thanks so much for coming back. If you're a new listener, welcome to the Connected Mindset Live. Each week, we bring you a guest to help you better connect with the world around you. And as we're on that mission, April is Autism Acceptance, Autism Awareness Month. I've been able to interview about 18 individuals who are on the autism spectrum. It's something that runs deep within my family and one of my kids, and I'm very passionate about sharing what being on the spectrum means. One of the biggest takeaways from those 18 conversations, I'm hoping to have about 50 before the end of April, to bring their stories to people who are commonly not exposed to it. Every single one of these individuals have mentioned autism as their biggest superpower. They do not let it hold them down. They never mention, they're a victim of their environment or something that's happened to them. And I come across people in business all the time that, feel bad for themselves. They feel sorry for themselves because of their circumstances, because life is hard. And I hope that a message like this really helps you connect with something that even when somebody does have a disability, a lot of times they see it as a part of who they are and they find ways to persevere through it. So no matter what you're going through in life, I hope that you're able to push through and really have a positive perspective on the other side of it and share it with other people. We're best qualified to serve ourselves 5-10 years ago. And that's something we're big about on this show. And also something I talk about through Valor, where I was a cyber attack it's about 10 years ago today. So it's kind of a time frame that feels like yesterday, helped a lot of people since, and we'll continue to do that. So you can go grab our free assessment. It's valor-cybersecurity.com/assessment. That's our gift for you joining the show. Our guest is going to have some free strategies to give you, but also some giveaways at the end where you can connect with him and his team in order to help grow your business. So without further ado, Mr. RJ Huebert, welcome to the show. How's everything going this morning?
Hey, Greg, lovely day in Pittsburgh. Happy to be here. And I want to give a shout out to you and Valor.
Appreciate that, RJ. So how we like to start the show, just so the audience can get a little bit more into the RJ machine and perspective and everything you have going on, is what mission are you on and what are you hoping that each person listening to us today, digesting this content, walks away with?
So, thanks for having me on today. So the mission of HBT is to help businesses thrive. It's also a play on my last name, Huebert, but why we're doing what we're doing is to help businesses grow. And it's such a challenging time in this economic environment for businesses to find leads, to increase sales, to grow their business, to not have to lay off employees. So we help businesses do lead generation using online advertising.
Heck yeah. I love it. I think it's an area sounds simple, but I know as a business owner trying all different types of strategies that, most of my breakthroughs have come from the ability to get to a conversation, right? To get to what obstacles do you have? And everything before that help shape their mindset, their perspective on what you actually do, so that they can say, hey, it's HBT that we need, or hey, it's Valor, or hey, it's this company and this individual. How do you think people get out of the, people do business with people, but how do you think companies can get out of the, I know RJ has this capability, I need to go to RJ, and how do you think you get people out of it so they start thinking HBT instead of just going to RJ as the expert?
Well, it starts with people hearing the connected mindset. They're on YouTube, they're watching this. They're on LinkedIn, they're watching this. And it starts with just hearing the message and getting to know the person, the face, what they're doing, hearing the stories. And then it's up to me to really try to cultivate that, audience, because it goes from a colder audience to how do we try to keep people engaged? And I know that you do this really well. You have a book that you offer, assessments, and it's really like adding value. So we do that through our own social media channels. We have our own newsletters that go out regularly with MailChimp, I highly recommend to your audience using LinkedIn company newsletters. We have close to 420 right now for the HBT newsletter. But what's great about it is you get a notification that, hey, a newsletter dropped, and it gets emailed. So if you're not doing a newsletter on LinkedIn, I highly recommend jumping on that.
That's a great strategy to get us started down that path, because there's just so many things you can do to try to spread a message. Most of the time, people don't even have a clear message. They're just kind of praying and spraying, as I say. And I think a lot of business strategy starts with mindset and prioritization, and making sure you have strategies that are going to work for your unique business and what your customer is seeking, so you can meet them in the middle. What do you think some of the biggest, broken mindsets to start when it comes to how people look at, digital marketing and doing business effectively online is?
Oh, that's a great question. So some business owners are really grabbing their pennies, and they are afraid to invest in their company. And advertising is an investment. It should not be looked at as an expense. You need to invest in your business by showcasing all the great things that you have to offer. Showcase those testimonials and those case studies of people that love your business, because ultimately we provide results. That's why people want to work with HBT Digital. So people need to invest in advertising and promoting their business. I like to think of a phrase like always be advertising in some form or another. Have a consideration campaign going, or a lead generation campaign going, to really at all times have people be exposed to your brand. Because if you're not advertising and you're a small business, it is so hard to get people to even notice who you are or what you do. So you really have to do the podcast, write the newsletters, put out the ads, attend events. It's a multi-pronged approach. But until you really understand what channel is providing the best leads and results for you, you can shift more of that energy into that. But if you don't really know how you're getting your business, if you haven't nailed down one or two great channels, you sort of have to play that game of trying a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. It's quality touch points. I try to say, to the team here at Valor is how do we create enough quality touch points where when they have the need, they think of us? And it's kind of that, psychological piece of marketing that not enough companies think about. They just think about, let's have a, beautiful one pager and a nice website, and let's go ahead and, we're gonna attract traffic when they need us because we do search engine optimization. And what I've found is when you can kind of spread a consistent message out through the community, it takes a lot of time. I mean, it took us 2-3 years to really get to the point where people started to say, oh yeah, we know what Valor does, or previous companies I was at to say, we know what this company now does. We thought they did this. And you have to kind of bring people along. I know they say the customer journey and things of that nature to shape that. What kind of trends are you seeing? You obviously run a company helping companies stay ahead of it, because it seems like certain, pay-per-click type ads. These heavy trends come on board. Obviously, AI is a trend nowadays, and how companies are using that. What kind of trends are you seeing, and how are you helping companies stay, either in alignment with or a step ahead of the trends out there?
Sure. So one big trend now, it feels to me like more companies are jumping in on Google Ads. There's more competition. The cost per click goes up because you have more companies bidding on the same keywords in one targeted location. And when you know that trend, you sort of have to set your expectations. Like, look, what may have cost one thing 5 years ago, it may be another with your, cost per lead, because everybody on here, I need you to track, use your pixels. I need you to track how people are arriving on your site and how are they converting, so you actually can understand what marketing channel is performing best for you and what campaign is performing best. And even going further, what keyword is performing best and the ads. So that is one trend that we're seeing. Also, YouTube ads. I don't know if you run or promote your content on Google on YouTube, but it's amazing for targeting your specific audience. You can target by, specific YouTube channels, the videos they watch, the content, and you can really get your content in front of the right person at the right time.
Excellent. Yeah, that's everybody's goal. And I think the folks listening in and that will listen into this, for years to come, they are either starting a company or are, 10, 20 years into it and just trying to adjust all of the old bad habits that they've taken on. Maybe they're advertising in the newspaper or like doing things that are a little bit outdated. Where do you think somebody starts fresh? So they start a company, they have a great service offering they know is out there. Maybe they have 1 to 2 customers that are floating the bills, and they're like, we really want to, blow up, our sales capabilities and how we are looked at throughout the community so we can attract our ideal customer. Where do you recommend that folks start to get the digital marketing engine, roaring when they know who their customer already is?
That's a great question. So it depends on their budget, depends on what their product or service is. I think the lowest hanging fruit is probably Meta, right? Your Facebook ads, your Instagram ads. I like to have business owners go one step further than like boosting. So like boosting is the quickest, easiest thing for a company to do. If you're a local company, you can boost your post within a 5-mile radius of your company and target the specific people you want to target. But I say hit ad manager up on Meta, because you have greater control over the audiences that you want to target, even the placements. Meta has over, I think, 20 some placements across all of their properties, from feed to reels to stories, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Let Facebook optimize the placements, build out the campaigns, manage everything in ad manager. Boosting, you have like no control over. So the low hanging fruit is going to be Meta. You're going to start seeing results pretty right away. If you do jump into Meta, my recommendation is to test at minimum 3 to 4 ads per campaign, because ultimately what I think is going to work and what you think is going to work, it may be totally off. So have Facebook test headlines, options, and images, because you can put 5 of each, and it will use machine learning to determine the best combinations. So low hanging fruit is that. If you can afford it, do some Google search ads. I mean, people are searching with high intent. They go to Google, I need an answer right now. And so they type in that specific, keyword or phrase. And your audience, they can do keyword research. Google has a great keyword planner. So if you're like, I just want to see what my cost per click is in this area for this product or this service, you can do your research and you'll find out the competition. You'll find the low end of the bid, the high end. So you'll know exactly what you might be, what that cost per click is. So if you say, I have a limited budget of $100 a day and your cost per click is, $5, you'll get 20 clicks a day. And that should help you start understanding marketing, advertising, and metrics, and the cost per lead, cost per conversion, things like that.
Yeah, I love that. in my community here in Virginia Beach, we see a lot of the most advanced marketing companies are law firms around here, which is kind of odd because they're in a older business, but a lot of the lawyers that we meet with are talking about these types of terms like, cost per click, and because they're getting so much inflow that they have to use the data to put them through their process. And we just don't see a lot of service businesses that are having these types of terminology conversations on how we measure things, how we use the information, and then how we evolve to the new way of doing digital commerce, which is essential for businesses to survive.
Yeah, I mean, law firm marketing is a beast, right? We do some. We have a few law firm clients, and marketing companies like myself, we love working with law firms. Law firms have a lot of money to spend on advertising, and they always need to be promoting themselves because depending on the service of the law firm, a typical case the average could be at minimum like $3K. And so they can afford to pay $10, $20, $50, $75 a click to acquire a new case because they can have a high chance of like really doing well. Whereas like the typical service, it may net a little bit lower than that, for their customer, which means they might have less money to advertise. So it really depends on the product and the service. Like if you sell a $10, bracelet, a $20 necklace, it's going to be really hard to make your ROI on ads if you have a product that is just on the lower end of price. So marketing firms love to work with service-based businesses where the average client brings in a great deal of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that return on investment, and you mentioned it earlier. It shouldn't be looked at as a cost.
It's an investment. It hurts, right? It hurts to open up that business wallet because you're taking a little bit from yourself too. But we're business owners, right? We want to be here for the long term. That's what we're doing. Or we want to build the company up to sell it. And you have to put yourself out there because if you don't, people are not going to find you. Mm-hmm. Unless you're the Gary V's of the world, it's just going to be very hard.
Yeah, you got to be relatively trendy to, go viral on something that you haven't sponsored or boosted. And
but at the end of the day, you have to provide great work and great results too, because you're going to be out of business real fast if you are not, providing for your clients because they're going to drop off. And it is hard to get new clients for businesses at the end of the day because there's so much competition, right? I'm sure in the cybersecurity world, you have competitors. In the marketing space, everybody has a marketing agency. Somebody might have just got laid off or they want to go on their own, control their own hours. So now we're an agency. Now we do everything. Yeah. We're highly niched in what we do. We're only focused on lead gen with online ads. And so, we're a 2-person company growing and love providing results for our clients.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I always say riches are in the niches because you separate yourself from the competitors that say we do everything. And I had to go through that early on because when you're a young company and you're used to being in a big company that offers everything, you're like, I'm going to go do the same thing of the company I was at that was successful and just say I offer anything and see what people buy. Mm-hmm. And they often bucket you into a competitor, a 1 or 2 or 3 person company trying to compete with a multi-thousand person company. And you can't do that. But if you say we specialize in this one thing and we do it extremely well, and we'll show you how well we do it, most of the time they'll give you the chance and it helps build trust.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what happened when we started our company. So we'll hit year 5 in May. And when we first started, we'll do your social media. We'll do your email marketing. We'll build your website. We'll do SEO. And what we were best at, running killer Google ad campaigns and Facebook ad campaigns. And by staying in that lane, we've grown the company every single year. And, that's just by focusing on providing like one service and being hyper focused on that. And that guides our messaging on social media and the newsletters, because we're not trying to cover every topic of marketing. We're just talking about online advertising. And I think our audience appreciates that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can definitely tell through your passion for it and through the specific strategies you're helping people adopt. I think that's critical. One of the biggest obstacles that I know a lot of people in this audience have is what we call it building digital trust. But through marketing, you have to build trust quickly almost, or over time consistently. And, one of the things we always mention is we're so connected to the internet that we're less connected than ever before. And what we mean by that is that a lot of the conversations online are very surface level. I think about, if you're going out and trying to date somebody or get new friends, it's harder to do online to find, the love of your life or like that perfect best friend that you're looking for next. And it's like, most people, they get worn out online and then they want to, then they go network in person and then they go out to the bars or they do different things like that. I think it's a hybrid approach, but digital commerce is changing so much. Like if you're selling supplements or you're selling a service, it's very hard to stand out online. But if you're in a room of HR people and you do cyber, it's like, hey, I'm the cyber, guy and girl. And, then people start to say, oh, that's the person. So how do you think people find the blend between that in-person commerce and then the digital commerce that you guys help people navigate?
Well, digital commerce is interesting because I think people like viewing like real content, like kind of the under produced content. And for that, I'll just point to like TikTok. Are you a TikTok user?
I'm not, just because of everything going on.
Okay, so I avoided TikTok the first couple of years. Oh, China owns all the data. They know everything that you're doing on your phone. I'm sure every other company in America knows exactly who I am and what I'm doing online and what I'm watching. So anyway, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok now, and TikTok is a great place for selling. I see all kinds of videos. At first, I got on there for research. I wanted to start playing around, understanding what companies are promoting and doing, and the stuff that I'm getting fed is like a lot of cooking stuff and like seasonings, and people are making like bomb ass food, like with and showing brands, and they're actually using it with what they're cooking, and then they're eating it, and then they're loving it and they're happy, and that resonates. That resonates more than just a static image on Facebook of seasoning, right?
Yeah.
So when people are starting to think about how am I going to promote my product or service, how can you go one step further than that, like one image, that one shot? Can you tell the story? Can you make a video? Even if you're, talking directly to your camera, I think that will actually work better than some of the other highly produced content.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of I think stories connect people. And with any brand out there that people buy from, most of the time, what makes them pull their credit card out or their checkbook, if you're still using checkbooks, or put their account number in to purchase something, it's because that company has taken them along the journey for the story. Like I think of a company that's advertising a lot right now is Mudwater, which is a coffee alternative, and for some reason they're targeting me, maybe because I look up like ways to optimize and things of that nature, or they're like, former pro athlete, this guy needs no caffeine. And I'm like, I still love the natural stuff, but they continue to tell their story from different angles. And I know people are buying it just because of the story, or just to try it out because of, their founder says, here was the obstacle I went through. Here's what I had to go through, difficulty to bring this product to you. And I think people connect to that story so well that they might not even look at the dollar amount. They're just like, oh, $50, that's fine. Even though they might not be able to afford it. So.
Oh yeah. And, people want that feeling, right? I want a feeling when I have a great bite of food with amazing seasoning on it. Like you should be selling that, the feeling people are going to get. I get served a lot of like particular clothing brands online, and they talk about where to wear this stuff, how it's made is fine, but it's like how are you going to look, how does it make you feel? And I think you can take elements of that and take it for your product or service. Like for example, like cybersecurity. I'm not in that industry, but I can guarantee, like, if a business owner with proprietary data, that they really need to protect that. And if they have a great company like Valor, working with them, they can sleep better at night. And I'm sure you have other, messaging that you like to use, but how do you like to give people that feeling with like cybersecurity?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, because a lot of our buyers are women because they value the feeling of safety. And we always talk about creating safe spaces because, like, in business, you're always, relatively fight or flight. Like, you're trying to persevere, you're trying to, convince people. And a lot of that is stretching you out of your comfort zone. So if a partner of yours can help create a safe space and make you feel like, things are more stable, obviously you sleep better at night, you feel a little bit better going into the office. You are better in front of your family because you're not focused on, can something go wrong? So we're definitely big on the feeling aspect because people are emotional, beings, and they buy most of the time based off emotion. I like to say I buy through logic, but that's not the case. But that's just
Well, it's like I have a business accountant. They do my business taxes. I am relieved when I just give them QuickBook access and say, all right, here's my stuff. If you need anything, let me know. And it's going on in the background. They are highly capable people. Shout out to Wilkie in Pittsburgh. But it's just having that partner. And I think that's why businesses hire HBT. That's why they hire Valor, is because, like, sometimes you need the professionals to do what they do, take that load off of you, because as a business owner, you have to grow your business. You have to keep your employees. You have to pay all kinds of taxes, which are crazy, and unemployment, which is crazy, and all these fees for co-working and internet. It just adds up. So if you can get somebody to, like, just take some of that mental load off of you, it's a relief.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we know how busy the mind can get when you have a strong vision, but you have to work there with, within yourself, and then help others get there. What about return on investment? A lot of businesses even come to us in the security space, and they're like, what is my return on investment for investing in protecting my business? A lot of times we have creative ways to get there, and what they're avoiding and things of that nature. Do you see any average, and I know it's, industry, product, and solution specific, but any type of average return on investments that folks can expect when they start to advertise or have been advertising over a specific period of time?
Yeah, I mean, the real answer is it depends, but I'm going to give you some examples. Return on ad spend. That is how you can, like, judge how well your campaigns are doing. Because if you put $1 in a campaign and it returns $2 to you've won. So if you can get above a 2 on a return on ad spend, that's pretty good. We're working with this organization in Pittsburgh. It's a nonprofit. It's called Black Girls Do Bike. It's a nonprofit organization that encourages women of color to join their bicycling communities in each individual city, form community, and ride bikes together and just have a great time, be out in the air, be with people like you. And they have this huge following. I think it's over 30,000 on, like, Facebook and Instagram. And they wanted to do a sales campaign. And they have all kinds of merch, from exclusive jerseys to the cycling tights to the water bottles to everything. And we did a sales campaign on Facebook, targeting a few different audiences: people that love cycling, females. They're people that are engaged with their social media channels or visited their website. That's called remarketing. Or people, a lookalike audience of those. And a lookalike audience has similar attributes as that main audience. And we had almost a 5 return on ad spend. So every $1 that we spent returned 5 to that organization. And that's going to help build up. She's going to use that money to help build up her community and tell the story. And they give donations to women. And this person was on Good Morning America telling her story about community and cycling and healthy living. So shoot for a 2. Anything above that is gravy. We strive for more.
Yeah, I love that. That's always helpful to get people to take the plunge and make the time and energy and money investment. because I think a lot of it takes energy. It saves them energy because they're not focused on marketing and they can start to put their dollars to work.
That's right. And the main takeaway, though, for this small business owner that wants to get started is to track your campaigns. Yeah. I talk to so many business owners and advertisers that they just want to hit launch and go and start advertising. That's great. But take a step back. You need to track performance, and you do that through the Pixel. Download the Pixel from each marketing channel, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter, Meta. Put that on your website so you can actually track from people that are going from ad to your website. And then once they convert, track the final destination. Is that a thank you page? So that way you can track if somebody lands on that specific URL. And now we can start really knowing cost per lead, cost per conversion, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the trackability, it's like knowing there's benefit from doing something. I think a lot of companies are like, they're staring at the phone and they're like waiting for the phone to ring. And it doesn't ring and they're like, oh, that wasn't worth it. So.
I know. And you want instant results, right? Who doesn't? You're investing in, you go to the bike store, you buy a bike, you got it. You paid your money and you got your goods. Advertising, unfortunately, does not work that way. Yes, advertising is flipping on the light switch, going from dark to light, turning on that faucet, getting that water going. But to expect instant results my job is to set expectations. We do 3 month tests, basically. We don't hold anyone to like a long-term contract. Most companies stay with us longer than 12 months. But like 3 months, we say optimally, we will get your campaigns up and running based on your strategic initiatives. We will optimize your campaigns to get best results. And it's kind of like this cycle of launching campaigns and testing ads and keywords and creative, analyzing results, making changes. And it's just like this circular thing. And it can take, we tell clients, up to 3 months before you can really start seeing like really great quality leads come in. Because let's be honest, not all leads are created equal. Some are people just scratching the surface. Just maybe they want to price compare. Or, they've seen your connected mindset on YouTube. They've been to the Valor website and now they know who you are. They saw the ad and they are ready to convert. And that is going to be a much better lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, filtering through that can be relatively tough. We probably get a lead a day that's just kind of like a spam lead. Or like cybersecurity, and they're trying to see if we'll give them a call, and I'll tell the team, I'm like, all right, calm down. Let's see, let's do some research on this person, make sure it's a real thing, because it's almost it's a chemical roller coaster within our bodies of like, oh, we got a fresh lead, like this is a potential customer we can have an impact on, and it's hard to not get too excited, but kind of keep those expectations internally and make sure we have a process of vetting folks that come in, as opposed to just saying every lead is created equal.
And I think as the business owner, you have to set some expectations up front beforehand, be it pricing, be it, hey, this is who we're best for. On our website, like we have an FAQ. Hey, what is your minimum advertising spend? Like we only want to work with companies that have at least $1,000 a month to advertise. Mm-hmm. If they have under 1,000, it's probably not a good fit. We want to work with companies that want to grow and want to invest. Some companies don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. We want to work with clients that are in it for the long run. We don't want to just work 1 month with you and have an add on and then off. We want it to be continuous and to show continuous improvements. So like we try to set some pre-qualifications before somebody really interacts with our business, because we don't have unlimited time, right? We can't entertain every single thing that comes in, because, we have to go with our gut too. Like, how long have you been in business? And I'm sure, you just have a gut feeling by now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it took a while. I was definitely fighting my gut for a couple of years until you're like, man, I'm in my own way. I need to get out of my own way. So that's the hard part for a lot of business owners. And I see people, 10 years in, that are still battling with themselves on, listening to their gut. They're kind of like just chasing trends, and they're just bouncing off what I call like the silver walls. They're like, oh, that wall looks nice. Let's go run into that wall. And then So
yeah, the grass is greener, right?
Yeah.
And people and companies, they change advertising agencies all the time. And I think there's some of that. Hey, I didn't get instant results with company A. Company B, ooh, it looks bigger. They have 100 employees. They've been around 15 years. They have to know what they're doing, but that's not always the case. So people need to do their own research. If you're a small business owner, build up your Google My Business profile. I think it's called Google Business something right now. They switched the name of it. But build that up. Build up your reviews. There are third-party websites that will help with SEO. Get listed on other third-party sites that list like all of your industries, and like there's tons of advertising ones that have all the advertising companies in Pittsburgh, and you can build up your reviews there too. So that just helps when people are searching for you, and now they see, hey, HBT Digital has 25 5-star reviews. They're legit. They've been around. People are talking about them and reviewing them, and that's some low-hanging fruit that people get started on today. Like, start sharing a review. Hey, did you work with us in any capacity? Would you mind saying how your experience was, and send them a link. Make it real easy for them. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to do it right away because they want to help you. They like you. They want to see you succeed.
Yeah. So would you say that Google, I think it's Google Business Suite or Google My, they have changed the name. I've noticed that. Would you say that is the best first step, or are there any websites like, Better Business Bureau, or like these ones that will actually, you put your information in once and it'll kind of distribute it everywhere, including Google?
Yeah, there are sites like that. Your number one step should probably be to get your Google My Business up. Yeah. As your number one, because you can list your hours, your photos, your website, your products and services, and then you have that review link that you can start sending out immediately. But then start listing your site. There are organizations that you enter your information once and it blasts it out to like 75 different high domain rating sites. The thing with that is like there can be a fee.
Yeah.
It might be ongoing. I'm not really sure, but you can also do one-offs. Just go to those individual sites and just start creating your profile. It'll take a little bit longer, but that's one way to do it.
Yeah. That's a great, actionable next step for people to take going from this. I think a lot of people think their website is just going to pop up when people type in their industry or what service they're providing, but that Google My Business, that's what Google specializes in, is, bringing those things to the top. And if you spend a couple dollars, they'll put you at the top of that search. So that's critical. I remember reading that you've been involved in building running communities. Definitely.
That's right. That was kind of my first step into the entrepreneurial world. I'm in grad school at USF for strategic communication management. It's like a hybrid of PR and marketing. And I'm like, can I build a brand from the ground up? Can I take my book learning and take it to the real world and make a buck? And it turns out I can. I created the Great Mother's Day Race with my race partner, Claire. It was a joint effort. Great Mother's Day Race, Great Father's Day Race, and then the Great Gay 5K. And through 10 years, we had over like 40 or 50 5K races in the Tampa Bay area. And how we grew it was we got involved with local running stores and the running community. Fit to Run was a partner in Tampa Bay. We would go to the store, set up our little booth, hand out informational packets about our race. And then we would go to like these happy hour runs, and we would run with the community and then talk about our upcoming race. And we would have strategic partnerships in the running community. And that helped really grow the race, because regardless if you're a day one company or year 5, you still have to go out there and kiss babies and shake hands. Because if people don't know who you are, they're not going to know, like, and trust you. They're not going to recommend you. No one's going to buy from you.
Yeah, it's the community. I say, community helps you build credibility. When you give into the community, it's kind of like that, give to others, and you'll typically get back what you want, as opposed to trying to sell everybody, and then they feel like you're just trying to consume from them and not produce. And you produce the community that people are able to enjoy, and that builds trust to say, RJ built this community with Claire, and they're doing something that brings people together. So they're a connector. and people love to be around people that help them make connections to people and activities. So I love that. And
some things just kind of naturally promote themselves. For example, we're doing an activity where people feel good. They run together. They can bring their family out. And that naturally extends itself to photos, to images, to stories, because each individual runner has their own story. So like there are, quote unquote, a lot of different legs to a running event. There's a lot of things to talk about and showcase. That's different than some businesses like an accounting firm. That can be really hard to market effectively because there aren't obvious things to talk about other than prepare your taxes or file now. So it really depends on the product or service, but like the community is everything.
Yeah. We're all about that. And I've seen the benefit of community in my business life, even through when I was in sports. Like those community members became fans that came to the game.
Oh yeah.
That you can interact with, that, talked about your strengths. And then they started to say, hey, maybe you try this on the field and it makes you a better player. So it's that full life cycle aspect that you're hitting on that I can tell starting something like that helped, benefit how you and navigate the world and the mindset you bring into your business, which is critical.
It's just telling that story. I'm sure like when you were at the ballpark, you could interact with fans, throw them a baseball, and just sign autographs and just be present with that person. Even if it's giving them a few seconds, now they're in a better mood. Now they're going to talk about you and talk about the team. They're going to want to support Greg and his career and his pitching. They're like, hey, how do we see this guy? We want to follow the journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is pitching, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what's gotten me to today. I mean, I still, go into boardrooms or clients that we work with and they'll mention baseball and like half of the conversations on sports mindset. Oh, yeah. And,
that's when you're going to have a great conversation when you're not talking about business at all. It's just like, hey, so what was your best pitch?
The scouts would probably say fastball, but I always like to throw a changeup because it made the batter kind of off balance, and it was more of like a whoa, like that made the batter look bad. So.
Nice. All right, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I was throwing upper 90s at one time, and it was something that as a kid I was like, hey, I really want to throw upper 90s, and it took so long to get there, and it just shows you that, just like in marketing, immediate gratification. It's false. Like if you just start throwing 90 when you're in 8th grade, like by 10th grade, 11th grade, you're gonna be hurt. So you have to have that, and we called the episode the marathon mindset. You have to have that long-term vision as a business owner and being strategic about how you market, how you put yourself out there. It all plays into that marathon that you're running.
And how fun is that journey, right? When you're going from 70 to 90, each incremental step is going to feel so good. That feels what's great about my company is like, yes, we're growing year after year. We're adding employees. And each step of the way is like, hell yeah, we're doing it. It feels great. It's like, it's that gratification. It's like your work is paying off and it feels great.
Mm-hmm. You're taking action too. You're not just, you're not just talking about what you can do for folks. You're delivering results. And I think that action piece is so important. Like when you continue to be in a stance of action and you're putting yourself out there, you're expressing a message. That's the only way you accomplish things. I think a lot of the world gets caught in this, let's learn more and more and more, and let's keep learning and not putting into action. So I can hear that.
It's like, my whole thing with that mindset is just like, is doing, it's taking the action. It's like, yes, you can have your cheat codes, right? You can pay for experience or pay for advertising agencies, but you can also on your own start creating offers, start telling your message, understanding what's the best way to convey that, what marketing channels, and you can do that right now. It's like taking that step. A lot of people give up, right? They don't see that instant result. And if I would have given up on my agency, I would be in the rat race, probably getting passed around from job to job, because marketing is corporate marketing is really difficult, especially now. Like companies are downsizing. Yeah. So it's like to have your own destiny in your hands. It puts everything on your shoulders, but there's no better reward.
Yeah. I'm glad you're persevering and able to share it today with the audience. I know it's a huge amount of benefit for them. to hear it from an expert and kind of work through the best way to think about this stuff, because it oftentimes starts inside in the mind and the body, and then it goes out to the outside world. And a lot of people are navigating, that level of life right now in their business. And I know this is going to help them. RJ, it's been excellent to bring you on the show today. How can folks get in touch with you as well as HBT to continue this conversation going forward?
Yeah, well, first, Greg, it's been great getting to know you, and thank you for this opportunity. The website is hbtdigital.com. My Twitter, RJ_HBT. And then all the socials for the business is just at HBT Digital Consulting.
Excellent. We'll make sure to put that in the chat here so people can go check out the website. And definitely follow RJ on social media. I know you put some great things out, and check out the newsletter on LinkedIn. I think that'll give a lot of people a beacon to follow, a light that, they are probably putting out content on social media, or they're putting out content on their website. They can repurpose that content for LinkedIn, where there's a lot of business folks on there, looking to connect with people, and then maybe business takes place from that. So RJ, been an absolute pleasure. One of the ways we like to end the show, all about connection, because we're here to cultivate a connected mindset, is what does being connected mean to you?
Staying in touch with people. Don't be a ghost. Just check in, say hi.
I love that. Yeah, it keeps it simple. A lot of times in this complex, digital, physical convergence world, we try to make things overly complex. But pick up the phone, go knock on somebody's door and say hi. You never know the impact it's going to make on them. And RJ, been a fascinating discussion. Looking forward to continuing it going forward.
Thanks, Greg.